What's up guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'll be talking about Halloween Ends. So Halloween Ends came out pretty recently on the 14th, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, today I'll be telling you guys the plot and why I feel like it is why it should not be as hated on as it is. Also, I got a new skin. What do you guys think? Leave your opinions down below in the comments. So yeah, let's get into it. So, Halloween Ends, the plot line basically starts when we get introduced to sort of the main character slash, like, antagonist, I guess, of the movie. You'll see why in a second. But, like, so it starts with a character named Corey, and he's going to his rich neighbor's house to babysit their kid. So what the movie fails to tell you at the start is that their kid is really spoiled, which we only learn once they start watching a scary movie together. So, like, Corey's trying to make this kid happy, and then, like, the kid, like, starts trying to scare Corey by telling him that he knows that Michael Myers is still out there. Like, just basically being kind of a jerk. He also calls Corey an ugly-ass babysitter. Which, I mean, ain't false. Corey is hot. I would smash him. Don't quote me on that. So, yeah. And then, like, the kid's like... So then the kid leaves to, like, go to bed because Corey got mad at him and told him to go to bed. Which, I mean, is reasonable. And then, like, Corey hears bumping upstairs. So he goes upstairs to check, like a good babysitter, to see if the kid's okay. And then what ends up happening is that the kid locks him inside of the upstairs closet that is conveniently placed right next to a stairwell, which will be important later on. And yeah, so then the kid yells at Corey that Michael Myers is going to get him in there. So obviously, since the kid just freaked him out earlier with that Michael Myers story, and the fact that, like, you know, they just watched a movie that was scary, probably, to them. I don't really know. I don't remember how the fake movie was. Corey is obviously terrified. So what he does is he starts nicely asking the kid it's not funny and to please let him out. And then the kid just decides to shrug it off. And then Corey starts panicking and yelling and screaming in there, right? And at this point, if I was the kid, I would have let him out. Because I don't want that babysitter to beat my ass the second he comes outside. Because Corey is like a full-on, like, 19-year-old at this point. So I would be terrified. Because, like, I'm a 5-year-old if I'm in that kid's shoes. But no, the kid's just like, haha, you can't get me. And do you know what happens next? Corey kicks the door down. Just as the kid's parents come through the front door, and next thing that happens, the kid falls down like 3 stories because apparently this closet door is right by the stairwell, right in front of the parents, and now he looks like a weird broken bones guy, like Vecna from Stranger Things just got to him. And yeah, cut to like 3 or 4 years later, Corey is just an average 22-year-old nerd who works at his stepdad's junk shop. And you may think, oh, the stepdad must be a jerk because that's how all movies are. Nope, you're absolutely wrong. This stepdad is actually super nice. Surprisingly. Like, he gives Corey a literal motorcycle and puts it off as, like, Corey getting to work. And Corey's mom is overprotective. So at this point, we kind of get introduced to the cast. Of course, there's the original lady, and then her granddaughter from like the Halloween 2017 remake sort of thing. Like, it's sort of a sequel, sort of not a sequel. And then yeah. So Corey, like, gets mugged by a bunch of teenagers trying to pay him to get them beer when he says no. So then he pushes them, and he lands on a couple of shards of glass, slits his hand right open. So, the grandma apparently ends up at that, like, the main old sort of OG character whose name I forgot. Let me go check. Laurie Strode, I think. Yeah, Laurie Strode shows up and just is like, "Hey, you kids better run off." And then they do, because they're intimidated by her or something. I don't really remember the details. And then she pulls out a knife and says to Corey, "You gonna do it or I am?" So they end up stabbing open the wheels of the kids' cars. And then she looks at Corey's cut hand and decides to take him to the hospital, in which, surprise, surprise, her granddaughter works, trying to get his granddaughter to ask him out to a Halloween party. So, like, they sort of have their romantic connection thing. They go to the Halloween party. But guess what? At the Halloween party, shenanigans ensue. So, first things first, like, Corey finds the mom of the kid he accidentally pushed off, like, that third story floor. And then, next that happens, he leaves the party because he's really depressed, acting like his girlfriend knows that she was going to be there. And then, all of a sudden, he, like, finds those teenagers, so they push him off the bridge he's on, and he falls into like this homeless guy's like home base or something, and then the homeless guy just watches as Michael Myers drags Corey into a sewer pipe, and then Corey has a quick squabble with Michael Myers, but then something unusual happens. Like, Corey just becomes Michael. Like, Michael lets Corey live. And then the homeless man obviously does not like this because he's a Michael Myers cultist or something. And he's like, "You should not have lived." And, I mean, in my opinion, yeah, I completely agree with the homeless guy. You go, homeless guy. And then, like, so Corey ends up having to defend himself because the homeless guy was going to stab him. And then, yeah. So then Corey starts acting like a weird child, all emotional and emo and stuff. So he, yeah. So he then visits his girlfriend's house, his girlfriend, and attempts, like, apologizes for stuff and takes her out on a date. But the granddaughter's grandma thinks that something's wrong with Corey, so she tries to ask, but when Corey just acts weird, she knows something's probably up. So she just, like, I don't know, she's like, "Oh, okay, fuck it." So she leaves him alone. I don't know why. Like, the only complaint I have about this is that Laurie Strode, or whoever the grandma from the original Halloween movies is, I have a horrible memory, I'm sorry, like, just tries to tell her daughter that Corey acting hella sus. But in the end, she still goes on Corey with a date. And all that really happens that's important is that Corey frees Michael Myers or something from the sewer by bringing a cop down there so he can kill, like, Michael Myers can kill that cop. And then, like, but the both of them start tag teaming victims. Like, for example, the coworker who offered to have sex so that they can get a promotion instead of, like, Corey's girlfriend, who is the granddaughter. I'm just gonna alternate between the two because I'm weird like that. And then, yeah. And then after a bunch of tag teaming, they just sort of turn against each other because the grandma lady from the original movies, you know what? Let's just call her OG. Just decides, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna probably kidnap Corey, put him in the abandoned house he nearly killed a child in, and make him hate me." So after that happens, Corey goes back to the sewage pipe, which Michael Myers is still living in for some reason, even though he could probably just, like, live in one of his victims' houses, and, like, they just chill. And then Corey mugs Michael Myers, beats the crap out of him, like the man soloed Michael Myers, and then takes his mask, which is surprising. Because, like, that's the one thing I did not expect for them. And then he goes off to kill Grandma Lady. Or OG. So, like, yeah. And then he, like, King just decides to die to the Grandma Lady. because he's just a gamer like that. Ooh, dragon. And pretty much just like sits there, and then Michael Myers comes in, takes his mask back, and just snaps. Like, Michael Myers comes in, takes his mask, and snaps Corey's neck. And, yeah. Relevant stuff, I guess. And then the battle between Grandma Lady begins. And then they just explored how literally indestructible Michael Myers is at this point. Because, like, they had the Grandma Lady, or OG, slit Michael Myers' throat and wrists. And then he just wakes up trying to beat the crap out of her. Obviously does not work, because they won't be doing their main character like that. And then, they... Sorry, I'm drawing up a blank here. Alright, like, the police people come, and they're like, oh my god, is your grandma okay? Because the sheriff has hots for OG, or Grandma Lady. And then, yeah. After that happens, like, they capture Michael Myers, knock him out, somehow. Don't even ask me. Like, Michael Myers is indestructible, man. You knock him out, that's something to be proud of. Give yourself a pat on the back. But nope, they just go into, like, this dialogue moment, and then put him through a meat grind. Well, a garbage disposal grinder thingy-mabob. And, like, they just watch him die. And it's kind of funny, so... Yeah, the Michael Myers kill was solid, but not good enough. Because it's Michael fucking Myers. Give him a decent kill. So, yeah. That's pretty much the entirety of the plot of Halloween Ends. So, this movie was not bad. It felt a little bit like Scream. But I love how, like, psychological it is, showing how Corey, being a good person, just has his life ruined by an accident that destroys everyone's view of him because everyone thinks he's a freak for murdering the child. I did not talk about that a lot because I felt like it was a bunch of random stuff. So then he joins up with Michael Myers to get revenge on the people who bully him about it. And then he ends up liking the girlfriend girl so much that he commits a bunch of murders. And at this point, now that he is a murderer, he just goes on a killing spree. I think it was a pretty good movie. Like, not as good as the original, obviously, but still really good. They used Corey as, like, the mentally insane person, and they played that part to the T. Like, the acting for this movie was phenomenal. So, there are it's really underrated. It's only got 5 out of 10 stars and 30% Rotten Tomatoes for some reason. I think it should at least get a 7 out of 10. But that's just my opinion. I might not be as cultured as, like, all the white boys who spend all their time eating ice cream on the couch and watching horror movies. But, like, yeah. It felt a lot like Scream, because then there were 2 killers just tag teaming, making it sort of look like one, except that you could tell the difference because Corey wore a scarecrow mask. So, yeah. That's my only real complaint. It felt a bit too much like Scream. But other than that, it was an extremely solid movie. Honestly, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. So, yeah. I'll see you in the next one. Also, yeah. Bye-bye. Oh, remember, giveaway at 69 subscribers for Flower of Truth.